Are you ready to unlock your full potential and maximize your productivity? Look no further than Productivity Smarts, the ultimate audio podcast hosted by renowned productivity expert Gerald J. Leonard. In every episode, Gerald shares captivating stories, invaluable tips, and cutting-edge strategies that will transform the way you approach productivity. Whether you're looking to reduce stress, overcome overwhelm, or simply get more done in less time, Productivity Smarts has got you covered. But that's not all. You'll also gain inspiration from real-life success stories of individuals who have achieved greatness through productivity. Plus, you'll learn the latest tools, techniques, and habits that will help you achieve a new level of happiness and fulfillment in your personal and professional life. So why wait? Join us every week as we delve into the exciting world of productivity and help you unleash your full potential. Get ready to take your productivity to the next level with Productivity Smarts. As a productivity expert and host of the Productivity Smarts podcast, Gerald J. Leonard has been a proud supporter of Kiva since 2011. Kiva is a non-profit organization that helps entrepreneurs in third world countries access the capital they need to start or grow their businesses. By making a small loan through Kiva, you can help these entrepreneurs achieve their dreams, support their families, and contribute to their local economies. And with a repayment rate of over 96%, your loan can be re-lent to another entrepreneur once it's repaid, creating a ripple effect of positive change. So if you're looking for a meaningful way to make a difference in the world, consider making a loan through Kiva. With loans as small as $25, anyone can be a micro-lender and help change lives. Visit kiva.org to learn more and start lending today.
Well, today I'm speaking with Dr. Winifred Bragg. She is a nationally recognized speaker, a board-certified physician, business owner, and the creator of the Bragg Factor. Dr. Bragg has appeared in numerous television and print media programs. She's been published in Redbook, Women's World, and Self Magazine, and her online articles have been read by tens of thousands of people. Dr. Bragg, how are you?
I'm doing fine, Gerald. How are you today?
I am doing really, really well. And, we were having such a great conversation. I figured we better turn on the recorder and start talking.
I think we should. Let the people join in.
Exactly. So, I always ask a couple of questions. Anybody seen my office, it's like they don't know if it's a music studio or a business office, but it's both. And so the question is, what is your favorite style or genre of music?
Well, my favorite style, I kind of like rhythm and blues, or songs that kind of, I don't know where you would say Pharrell's song like Happy, where that fits in. I like that because one of the things I do as a doctor, I'm a pain doctor. So I like to bring happiness to people who are dealing with pain. And when I'm speaking about Bragg Factor, whatever, people come to me sometimes because they are going through a pain of loss of a career or finances or whatever. So happy. I think people need to find happiness. And with happiness, you can find some stability despite what has happened to you.
That's awesome, because I know you talk a lot about creating your own Bragg book, and we'll get into that in a minute. Before I get into that, I want to ask you, because obviously, as you just said, you are a doctor, and in reading your profile or just a little bit about your background, you've been written up in magazines, you're writing a series of books, you got all these different things going on, and you have even more inventions, if you will, coming up that you're working on, right? And so success is a journey. And so on your journey of success, what do you feel like has helped you to become so successful or purposeful about your activities throughout your life and your career?
I think I was always somewhat goal-oriented because my parents taught us the value of having goals and striving for things. And so I owe that to them. But I have been fortunate, Gerald, that, I tell people you are the sum total of the 5 people you surround yourself with. And fortunately, just not because I was so special, but in school, from high school and college and medical school, who navigated to me mentors and teachers that sprinkle little things on me, kind of like food. They sprinkle a little salt and pepper on it to make me better. And so I think it's the mentors that I had that encouraged me along the way and taught me the value of staying on the yellow brick road, for lack of a better word.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, the 5 people around you has a really big impact, because I think of it this way: people are like crabs in a barrel. If you're in the wrong barrel, every time you try to get out, they try to pull you back down.
You are right. You are right. If you're in the wrong barrel, and sometimes that's right. And I know some people that just keep getting in that same barrel.
Yeah.
I'm like, jump on into the catfish. If you've been with the crabs, jump to the catfish and somewhere.
Exactly. But then you have barrels where you may be at the bottom, but everybody else is at the top. And guess what?
Right.
They can pull you up.
They can pull you up. That's right.
So
that's right.
You kind of have to make sure you're around the right people, because you will gravitate to where your set point, the people that you're spending time with or you're talking to are. So let me ask you this, because obviously you've written a really cool book about the Bragg book, and just how writing out just the things that you've accomplished and keeping a journal of those things, as well as your goals and where you're going, and doing an inventory of your skills, really makes a big difference. In your book, you emphasize the importance of creating this Bragg book to document these achievements. Let me ask you this: how does this practice help individuals stay motivated and improve their productivity over time?
Well, there's something in the brain, and we won't have a long brain lecture today, but there's a network in the brain called the reticular activated system, and it works like a filter. And we wake up in the morning, we used to have 90,000 thoughts. A lot of them are negative. And so you've got to try to move toward positive things. And so the RAS, reticular activating system, is a filter, like I said, much like a filter on your water thing. If you keep pouring good water in a jug with a filter, guess what? Like you said, crabs in the barrel, that bad water is going to flow out. And so when you're writing down these good things, accomplishments, that is subliminally talking to your subconscious mind and letting you know you are good enough. Right. So often people don't think they are good enough. And when you write down a history of your accomplishments, that moves your mind from thinking about the good things you are rather than the negative things you are. You know, we've all had some stumbling blocks and failures, but if you write down your accomplishments, you remind yourself, I did that, I can do this. And the book is an action step book that allows you to be active and write that down so you are reminded of the good about you.
Yes. And I really like that about the book, because as I went through it, it had so many different questions that it asked. After it taught these concepts, it asked questions, and it gave you a chance to pause and think about your answers, and it asked you to do an inventory and just all the different things that you just kind of mentioned. And it's so really important. And I like, kind of sometimes parking around the brain, because I think sometimes people forget how marvelously our brains are created, right? And that we just need to know how to operate them and how to make sure we get the right inputs into them. And they will start producing, like a great algorithm, they will start producing all of this wonderful information. But if we feed it the wrong data and we feed it the wrong information, then it's going to start spewing out the wrong data, or it's going to spew out things that are contradictory or conflicting, and it's going to give us that imposter syndrome and some of the things we're going to talk about. Now, one of the things that I've seen in the book is that many professionals struggle with self-doubt, and which impacts their efficiency and their effectiveness. How does this idea, and this gets into this imposter syndrome, how does this idea of the Bragg book and writing out, journaling, right, physically writing out what's going on and what you're accomplishing, combat this imposter syndrome? And why does that work in the brain that way? And how does it help us maintain that high level of productivity?
Well, it helps you because, again, you're focusing with self-talk on the good and training your subconscious mind. You're basically doing brain training to think about opportunities rather than obstacles. And when you're writing that, it's kind of like a diet. you're eating the healthy fruits and vegetables, writing down that good so you can focus on that throughout the day. The way that reticular activating system works, people think that am I voodoo?
Right.
No, it's not voodoo. But if you ever wanted a car, I know in medical school, I had a car that I didn't need a speedometer, Gerald, because after 55 miles, that thing would just shake. And I knew that I was going too fast. I knew that I was just
that in one time in our lives.
that's just going too fast. And so I had a little negative thing about when I was looking in my rearview mirror. I'm like, what's that blue light on? And the blue light was on, the man was coming after me. And so that was negative thoughts. And I would always see people in a nice green Honda. And everywhere I wanted that Honda because my car was shaking. And everywhere I looked, I would see that Honda because you see, I would get up in the morning thinking about a better car. And so if you've ever wanted a new car, new Toyota, or whatever it is you wanted, when you went down the street, somehow or another, your brain led you to see those other cars, those Hondas. And that's the way the reticular activating system does. What you're putting in is what you're going to get out. And so when we put good things in and write in these inventory, that's going to help us spit out good things and combat that imposter syndrome.
Yes, yes. When I think about the reticular activating system, because I've talked about it a lot in the past, just like what you just said, when you have something that you want, the power of the reticular activating system says, okay, this is really what she wants in her life. So when she pulls out of the driveway, we're going to see anything green that's passed by her, she's going to notice it. Anything a Honda shaped like a Honda in any form or fashion, she's going to notice it. But if you take that same concept and you go, hey, I want to be a #1 best author, right? A speaker, or I want to do this or do that with my life, it's going to become one of those things where when you write it down in your brag book and you meditate on it and think about it, then when you get up and you start your day, anything around that thing that you're focused on, you're going to start seeing. Whether it's a book on how to be a better author or a book on how to be a better speaker, or you may get a phone call from someone that says, hey, I got this opportunity for you to speak or this opportunity to participate in this book. Or you may bump into at the airport a famous speaker and they go, you know what? I'm just like a regular person and I coach people. And next thing you know, you're being coached by somebody who can help you with your dream. And that's the power of programming our reticular activating system with what you're talking about in your book.
That's exactly that's that power of doing that. I've researched and it says millionaires and multimillionaires, very successful people, what they do, they get up in the morning and they close their eyes and they think about what are their goals for that day. And not only do they just think about it, they dream and imagine seeing themselves accomplishing that goal. And so that kind of triggers their reticular activated system that throughout the day, as you say, when they see somebody on the elevator, they're going to see an opportunity rather than an obstacle because they have trained their brain to move toward that. So that's exactly how it works. And I do that. When I have a big thing like today, I knew that I had a podcast with you. And so I thought about it earlier. How will that podcast be with him? And what could I say that's going to help people to be a little more productive? And so that's what I knew was on my schedule for today. And I started today and visualize how would it be sitting at the podcast and talking to you about it. And I get my mind focused on that.
Right, right. Now, when someone's filling out their brag book, right, what are some of the practical steps that they can take to improve their performance or their networking or their leadership? What are some things that they can write in their book to help them besides just saying, okay, hey, I did this activity the other day and I accomplished this, or I, had a good report. But what are some other things that they could do in their book that they're writing about their journey that could help them with their performance, networking, or leadership?
One of the things that is the words we say to ourselves, powerful words. Yeah. How you saying what you say to yourself. So, looking at some of the words that you're saying to yourself. And one of the things that I think people miss out on is we think about what our jobs did for us in our journey. But did you think about in writing your book, what were the volunteer things you did? The book also talks about the value of character, commitment, and courage. Yeah. And sometimes you might not have had a certain wow experience, but if you think about the things that you've done that demonstrated character, commitment, and courage, and write those things in the book. And as you reflect upon whether you're trying to get a new job or promotion or whatever, share with those people those three concepts. Because who doesn't want to hire somebody or promote someone that you know is committed, someone who has character, and the ability to say no, that doesn't seem right. The ability to do those three things are things that I think are the essence of what people need to write. And so often, because, you know, in the world today, a whole lot of things is happening, and we really want people that have good character. That's just a fundamental thing. And by volunteering, so often people forget the value of volunteering. You may, because if you volunteer, do you know the kind of people you meet and volunteer? You're not going to meet thuggish people on a volunteer thing out there selling Girl Scout cookies or working for Salvation Army, Rotary, or whatever. You're going to be in a network, as I said earlier, surrounding yourself of people who usually have good character. And that speaks volumes. And those kind of things, those experiences are things you can write in your book, and you learn how to articulate those will really take you leaps and bounds.
Right, right. You know, we just had the passing of Jimmy Carter. And one of the things that was in volunteering is he would spend a week out of the year as an ex-president rolling up his sleeves, building homes at Habitat for Humanities. And it wasn't like, hey, Rose, we're just going to donate some money, or we're just going to kind of show up and take some pictures and shake some hands, and I'm going to lend my name. He gave a whole week of sweat, blood, and tears, or time from all the different things that he was doing and traveling around the world to volunteer. And so many times, like you're saying, you know, when I've gone to volunteer things, the people who are volunteering are people of character. And I want some of that to rub off on me, right? I want that to rub off on me. Something else that you said is that there's a lot going on. And in so many different ways, there's a lot going on today. In every generation and every year, there's always kind of like a lot going on. Like there's like a really potent amount of a lot going on right now, just across the world, not just here in the US, but across the world. And a lot of that, what's going on, if you listen to it too much, it becomes overwhelming. People get stressed out.
Right.
People are not listening to the medical professionals. So diseases that have been taken care of, like measles and things like that, are coming back. Right.
Right.
You go get breakfast, and stores are now wanting to charge a premium for eggs because of bird flu. And just there was a newscaster that said he went just to go get breakfast, and a simple breakfast of eggs and bacon and toast cost him $20. And it was just one plate by himself, not $3 or $4, wow. $5, $20. And if you think about the average person today, and if you're minimum wage or you're above minimum wage or you're doing well, that's a big hit, right? And that can be extremely discouraging. How can this Bragg Factor, how can writing out our goals and writing out our accomplishments and keeping our heads down and staying focused, how can that help us deal with all of this overwhelm and stress and burnout that a lot of people are feeling right now?
Well, the burnout and all that is real. And what I tell people, one of the things we want to do is develop something that makes us happy. That's why I like that song, Happy, Happy. What is it, something that you like to do? I tell people, during your day, course of day, your job or whatever, before you lay down and go to sleep, think about something that brings you joy. And you should spend some time with your family, friends, or whatever to bring you joy. And the Bragg book talks about what are some of your extracurricular activities. Mm-hmm. And so with that, you're writing down things that just give you joy. Because my mentor taught me years ago when I was applying for residency, and it was very competitive. He says, when people invite you for an interview, you've already shown that you have the credentials. Now people are trying to decide, do they want to drink coffee with you in the morning for the next 2 or 3 years? Or are you the kind of nerdy person that they say, geez, in the break room, I don't want to go there. So they want to know, do you have some personality? What else do you have that makes it a joy to work with you? Because there's so many things happening in the world. And the truth be told, Gerald, you spend more time waking hours with those people at work than you do with your home people. Because, that's right. And so the Bragg book talks about what are some of your extracurricular activities, some of the things that you like to do. Maybe you play tennis, maybe you golf or whatever. What are some of those other things that you do as well that can make people see a personal side of you, that you have something else that you can offer? Because when you work for a company, big companies are going to have volunteer things, and they want to know that maybe you have done something else that they can see you fitting into some of their other missions.
Exactly. Now, we've been talking a little bit about this, and I mean, I could talk forever and ever with you about this topic because it's a topic that I really love, and it's really the essence of the productivity smarts model, right? Because it's about learning how to use the tools that are 20% of the things that we need to do that are going to give us the 80% of the results, right?
Right.
What I've found in my own life is that by writing out my goals and writing out what I'm grateful for every day, it programs me to bring into my life the things that I'm looking for and the things that I want. And so as we get ready to end our conversation for today, I want to just talk about a little bit on this area of strategic productivity tools for business leaders and how they can leverage this Bragg book concept to track progress on major initiatives or projects they're working on, how they could leverage this Bragg book for decision-making, or to go back and review decisions they've made and to feel confident and strong as they move forward with their strategies, and many times in very unpredictable circumstances. And also as things are moving so fast, right? With AI, with all these changes, one day you think you got a job, the next day you don't. One day you think you got a job, and it's not even the job that's taking your job, is that a computer program has replaced the things that you were doing. And even though they could be pretty sophisticated, or somebody else in another country has taken over that role because they moved the job to another country. There's so much going on, but how can people use it strategically to really help them move forward?
Well, they use it strategically because the more you know about your skills and your values, the better you're going to be able to articulate it. And what we didn't talk about is what Bragg stands for. Bragg is my name, but it applies a framework, and it's 5 steps. And the first is behave as if. And that's the modeling that you talk about, the reticular activating system, and seeing something that you want to become, and people that are doing what you want to do. Can you model what you need to do by people who've accomplished similar things that you want? R stands for resist the urge to quit, complain. And A stands for accept no limitation. G stands for grow your gift. And the last G stands for gratitude. And so with this Bragg model, we want people to understand, because one of the things is it's key to know how to brag the right way, because sometimes it can be perceived as being obnoxious. And so I brought out that G is because if you do things from a standpoint of gratitude as a leader, you need to be grateful to your team, and you need to articulate that and embrace what they are doing as well. So as a strategic leader, when you're writing down your goals and what you've accomplished, you want to also think about those who made you good and show gratitude. And so I tell people as a leader, you should spend time at least a week or so having a huddle or having something where you can praise your team, because people are burned out and so many people get criticism but never get compliments. And 10 seconds of just saying something good about them will give you so much mileage. So the Bragg Factor, when you're writing down your goals as a leader strategically, say, I accomplished that but who helped me to accomplish it, so that you don't forget who are the least of those and to push them up and put them up forward. And so then you will see that when your team sees that you respect them and you are able to publicly say to in a team meeting, I'm so thankful for Gerald, who was able to do the graphics for this. I'm so thankful for Gerald, who was the one that did the sales that pushed us over. People like to be praised in front of their colleagues. And so that's how you can use that brag factor as a leader. And what I tell them as a leader, you want to kind of be somewhat like Harriet Tubman. When we think of her as this month being Black History Month, I like to think about someone like her because a good leader is not selfish. A good leader thinks about who can I bring with me? And so when you're writing your visions and your goals, you need to think about, I've accomplished that, but who in my ranking order can I push up and bring with me? And that's going to speak volumes for you. And that's what the brag factor would be, to teach leaders strategically what to do.
That is excellent. And as I read through the book, I know I went through the acronym, but I'm really glad that you brought that back up. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. Bragg stands for, as an acronym, it stands for something. It's amazing just how you put so much thought into this. And in your own right, you have a lot to brag about in the right way. And again, many times we need to be able to share our value, and that the idea of bragging is not the arrogant bragging, but it's really let me tell you what I'm bringing to the table, and let me tell you how I make a difference and how I can help and what I can do. And then as you brag that way, you're including your team, you're including all the other people. And again, there's so much more that was in the book that, we could spend, hours talking about it. But if people want to get to know where to find you, to work with you, to talk with you, to hear you speak, or to hire you to speak, where can they go?
They can go to my website, thebraggfactor.com. And I want them to leave knowing that brag is a 5-letter word. It's BRAGG and not BRAG. And so they can go to thebraggfactor.com on the contact page. But more importantly, they can go there today and download a free chapter of my book, How to Create Your Bragg Book for a Competitive Job Market. And they get a sample of what the book does. And they can also join my YouTube. Every Tuesday, I give a tip for a terrific Tuesday. Today, I talked about how important it is to be intentional, in your personal growth. You need to take 30 minutes or an hour each day to be intentional about the skills you want to hone. We talk about people that become millionaires and billionaires. Not that money is the measure of success, but people look at it. Warren Buffett, who's a multi-billionaire, reads 500 pages every day because he believes about the importance of thinking and reading and having knowledge. And so I want people to follow me on the YouTube, but go to my website, and so they can sign up and get monthly tips from me, and they can get a free chapter of the book from the Bragg book, How to Create Your Bragg Book for a Competitive Job Market. Go to somewhere like Office Depot or somewhere and make it nice. And when you go for a performance review or interview, take it with you, but have one that you can leave with that person. Because again, when you create that, that's going to let people know there's believability that this person did accomplish these things if they have copies of awards or stats or things that they've accomplished in that book that they can give. And not only if you don't want to leave it, it's going to give you confidence when you're talking about yourself that you have that book that you've created, and you're going to be able to smoothly go from page 1 to 2 and be able to articulate very quickly why you're the best for that job, that promotion, or whatever it is that you're trying to do.
Well, Dr. Bragg, thank you for teaching us how to brag the right way.
But thank you, Gerald, for having me. And I hope that your audience has been inspired and motivated to know that these are difficult times, but they too can succeed and accomplish their goals.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
If you're enjoying the content and finding it valuable, we would appreciate it if you could take a moment and leave us a review. Your feedback is important to us and helps us reach a wider audience. If you leave us a 5-star review, it would mean the world to us. Not only does it help us improve the podcast, but it also helps us attract more sponsors and grow our community. Thank you again for your support and for listening to the Productivity Smarts podcast.
Thank you for tuning in to Productivity Smarts, where we help you achieve your goals and live your best life. We hope you've gained valuable insights and actionable strategies to boost your productivity and increase your happiness and fulfillment. Remember to apply what you've learned and keep striving towards your goals. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our podcast for more inspiring episodes and expert advice from our host, Gerald J. Leonard. Until next time, keep pushing forward and unleashing your productivity smarts.